Hello everybody, and welcome back into the dungeon for a little look around at what I've got growing on here in my basement as I'm trying to outlast the winter here in chilly Manitoba. But anyway, so we're looking at about 10 weeks in theory until I can plant things outside. So I've got myself, kind of on a countdown now. All those things plant 10 weeks before, last frost, and 8 weeks and 6 weeks, and it's time to go through my seeds and organize them by those pre-planting dates. I think it might be quite revealing. Speaking of quite revealing, I'm going to show you guys the plants here in a second, but I have to say, before we get into things, that I have for a long time been a huge fan of and advocate of the 24-hour lights for a veg cycle, because that's just what I was always taught, and it always seemed to produce pretty good results. However, I have been using my brain a little bit this last week and doing a little bit of actual research into things, and it seems like peppers definitely benefit from a bit of an actual rest cycle, so I have therefore bought another timer, and everything down here is on an 18 on 6 off schedule. And I have to say, in the few days that it's been under that system, it's quite noticeable, the change in these seedlings and plant starts. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so here we have the orange habaneros. Not massive growth since last week, but they were pretty tiny last week, only just seedlings, just the true leaves, most of them. Just up from there, you can see this is the shelf with those 6,000K little strip LEDs on the PVC pipes, as you can clearly see. And everything here seems to be doing great since the change. The most noticeable difference, I'd say, is that all the plants seem to be reaching up and actually getting a little bit taller at night, so they're not quite as squat as they were. This billy goat, I believe, a little ladybug hanging out on it, excellent to see, is definitely getting a little bit taller. And actually, while we're looking at that one, I think I noticed the other day, let's see if I can find it on the camera, but it looks to me like I'm getting the beginning of flowers in there, which is interesting. The crimson red peppers, a couple of them are already starting to produce those little balls that show the beginning of the flowers. Now the billy goats too, so huzzah, I might actually get some peppers out of this. Actually, one of the peppers upstairs was producing some flower starts too, so that's very exciting. Next shelf, start over here with the MOA Scotch bonnet. This is looking so much better since they're getting 6 hours of dark now. These leaves, I swear, have like doubled in size. So, I don't know, I could just be deluding myself, as it were, but seems to be a rather significant difference. This poor thing, that's the Kung Pao hybrid that just didn't want to throw off its seed casing. I finally pulled it off, and I'm going to give it 2 days. If it still looks like that in 48 hours, it's out of here and I'll try again. A lot of these tomatoes are looking like they're pretty happy to be getting a good start. They're all looking pretty dry. I haven't watered them yet today. But even the eggplants down at the end there are starting to look a little bit more like proper eggplants. Excellent. I figure I was about a month to 2 months off with my start on those last year, so hopefully I'll get some this year. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Down on the floor here, we've got those couple of tomatoes that I did finally transplant. Looking pretty darn good. Wasn't quite sure how well they do because they are kind of in the middle of a side lit area. There is no light directly above these, but they do seem to be getting enough to at least grow. So that is good news. What we have here is the remains of that pumpkin. We'll call it a test or an experiment. The plant is clearly dead at this point, but what I wanted to know is, will it produce roots from one of the side nodes? And how can I take advantage of that in the future? So we're going to basically take that apart today and see if we can find any roots or just what happened there. Not quite sure how to go about taking that out, but feels with my finger like there's roots going on in there. Oh yeah, that definitely sprouted some roots off. Alright, well that's very interesting. I'm going to need to start a new pumpkin if I'm going to continue playing with this particular experiment, but it looks like once it does root, I can probably cut them off and get multiple pumpkin starts from a single pumpkin seed. Not like pumpkin seeds are expensive, but it's interesting all the same. Taking a look at the peppers in the hydroponics here, again, since they have been given a nighttime cycle, they're all looking much better. Okay, I shouldn't really say all of them. There have been a couple of plants that haven't survived. Like there's that billy goat back there was planted at the exact same time as the one under the 6000K, but never really was the prize winner of the group. So here we can see those Sugar Rush peppers from last week looking much better. Got the crimson red here. A lot more of the flower starts in there, so hopefully I'll get something out of that. That would be cool. Be very cool. But all of these peppers are doing so much better now that they're getting a night cycle. I feel like I've been so abusing them for so long, but starting to look good with these reapers now too. Apparently reapers are sleepers. Give them some time to rest. These cucumbers not looking good. It was recently pointed out to me though that tomatoes and cucumbers don't necessarily like living together, so this was not wise planting on my part. Not the first time for that though, is it? This pepper's looking beautiful. This one's a little curled in the leaves. I've got this going on a few of the peppers. Not quite sure what that is. Probably some sort of deficiency. Need to start doing more of that research stuff. But turns out the internet's full of good and helpful information. We've got two yellow Vitellis crammed into there. I'm kind of afraid to separate them though, because I damaged the root system last time I tried to move a pepper out of there. I suppose these guys are much more developed, much stronger. Can probably handle it. But yeah, things are looking pretty decent so far this week. I'm quite thrilled. The two overwintered peppers upstairs in the studio have been given a similar cycle, although I don't have a timer yet for it, so it's a little more hit or miss as to whether or not it's actually 18 and 6. But they are also showing a huge improvement. The Purple Freak that is still alive up there looks like it's putting up flower starts, so that's going to be interesting. It wasn't really a flavorful pepper, but it had a lot of heat for such a tiny little thing, so cool. I'll take what I can get at this point. There's still snow outside. If I can get a pepper before the snow has completely buggered off, it's a total win for me. I'm easily amused, and that would totally do it. All right, everybody. I guess it's kind of a quick video this week. I don't know. It feels quick anyway. But that's where I'm going to wrap it up. So thank you all so much for sticking around, joining me. I've noticed there's been a lot of new subs lately. Thank you all for joining the community. Feel free to get involved in the various conversations down below. Always quite entertaining when you do. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys next week or on one of those different channels listed down in the description there. Yeah. See you later, everybody.